Hey y'all, it's Dr. Know-It-All. There were a confluence of a couple of different events today that made me want to do this video. This has nothing to do with Tesla, nothing to do with SpaceX. It has to do with passion and following your passion and doing what you love. And those events were, number one, Rob Maurer deciding that he is quitting Tesla Daily. That is super sad news. Number two, Rick Beato actually doing a video today about quitting and about YouTubers quitting and how he loves to watch those videos. I actually don't. I really don't like to watch it. It's too emotional for me. And then the third thing is actually talking to David Carbut, who I am taking on as an editor and a help to strategize and build my channel and all of that stuff. All three of these things happened. I had a conversation with him during this as well. All of those things happened together and made me want to shoot this video. And I want to do it in a casual way. And my dog is walking around behind me. So if you hear the clip clop of the dog walking, that's the dog. I really want to be kind of just open and talk to you all about this. There are a lot of interesting things about being a YouTuber. And I think Rick Beato, he did a video a couple of years ago and I saw the title of it and I had to click on it and I wanted to find out all about it. So I think I'm going to crib the title. The title was Nothing Lasts Forever. I am not quitting, just I'm being upfront about that. So if you're worried about that, you can not do that. But I thought it was a really good title. And he talked about how YouTube is his last job. He is a few years older than me. He's 61, 62 right now. And so he was like, I'm going to do this for some amount of time. And actually in the video that I'm referring to today, he actually talked to his daughter and he was thinking somewhere around 69 or something. So like another 6 or 7 years or whatever. But anyway, he did this video and it scared me because I was like, no, please don't go away. I love your videos. You know, I want you to be around for a long time so I can keep watching your videos. And I don't know if anybody feels that way about my videos, but I feel that way about my videos. I love doing them. I love talking to everybody and it's a real joy to do that, but there are some significant problems. So anyway, what I want to do is just bring out a little clip from Rick's video and show it right here. And then I'm going to just talk about my own personal experience. So let's take a look.
The idea of quitting videos, I think the reason, and I'd be really curious to hear your opinion of why I'm obsessed with this, the way that they talk about it, it's really interesting to hear people describe the process of what it's like and the stress that's involved with making YouTube videos. Now, I don't feel this stress because I make videos on things I'm interested in. I don't care about the views. I could make a video right now on a topic that I know will get millions of views, and I'm making this video instead because this is the video I want to make today. And I find that most of the people that make these videos have really specific upload schedules. Tom Scott would upload on his channel every Monday at 4 o'clock, almost without exception. Matt Pat talked about a couple uploads a week, and most of these people have really defined upload schedules. Anybody that follows my channel knows I put videos out whenever they're done, I put them out.
So there you have what Rick has to say about what other people are feeling and the stress that they're feeling and, you know, that he kind of avoids some of that stuff. And again, I will leave a link to that in the description so you can check it out. Please do look at his videos. If you care anything about music, you will absolutely love his videos. So please do. All right. So a few things here. Number one, to talk about some of the problems. Following an algorithm too closely can be a problem. So there are people like Stephen Mark Ryan who have an amazing ability to just be focused and put on the blinders and do not the same video every day, but really, really focused. It's all about Tesla and it's really all about Tesla stock. And that's what it is. And he can do that and he can manage it. I am far too ADD to do that. I would go completely crazy if I tried to do something like that. So I have to sort of be a little more ADD anyway. So that can be a problem, right? You can follow the algorithm and you can grow your channel. And my channel would probably grow significantly faster if I followed the algorithm very closely and stayed really niche on Tesla and just talked about that kind of a stuff. But I really don't want to do that because I want to be able to follow my passion. I would be interested to know what you all think about that. So definitely let me know. I'm going to get back to that in just a minute. The second piece of the puzzle that Rick talked about from other YouTubers like Tom Scott in particular is that he was feeling like way too rigidly defined a schedule, and also Rob Maurer because it's Tesla Daily, so that's 5 days a week. Dylan Loomis, you know, Electrified, he has that same sort of schedule where he has 5 days a week and everything. So this can be quite the bear, and I will tell you this from personal experience. Last summer, I started teaching at the somewhere around the 10th of May, something like that. And I had a 100-day window approximately between the last day of school and the first day of school. And I said, 100 videos, 100 days. I'm going to do one a day, and I'm just going to knock them out and keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it. And it got to a point where I was actually really burning out. It was very difficult for me to do that because there was so much pressure on my own, right? This wasn't something that I had told anybody else. It was just my own thing, but I was like, I'm going to do that, and I'm going to, knock out 100 videos in 100 days. And some days I did 2, and other days I was able to do 0, so that was nice. But I was a little bit flexible with myself. But it was still incredibly challenging to do something like that. And that actually brings up the third point, which is a big challenge, which is doing it all on your own. And up until about a week ago, I've been doing it all on my own, and that is incredibly challenging to do because doing these videos, there's the recording aspect of it, right? So this is the stuff you see. And generally speaking, if you watch a, let's say 10-minute video that I do, that means I've done between 20 and 25 minutes of recording because there's lots of takes and things like that. I don't script it out, so I'm not reading a script. So you're not seeing something that's just all in one shot. I'm not doing anything like that. So generally it's about 2 to 3 times the video that you actually see is the stuff that I'm shooting. But in addition to that, there is the research that goes into, building the video and figuring out what it is and what the topic is going to be and figuring out what the facts are going to be. All of that kind of stuff is important as well. And then there is the editing on the back end and the thumbnail and the titles. All of that stuff really, really adds up when you have to do it on a daily basis. It is not a joke. So in short, the major problems that I see are, number one, trying to follow an algorithm too closely rather than following your passion. So again, that's a way of growing your channel faster, but it's not a way, at least in my mind, of staying passionate about the topic that you're talking about and about doing these YouTube things. Number two is too rigid of a schedule where it's just like, it's got to be like bang, 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 like clockwork or something like that. Whether that's daily or weekly or whatever it is, setting yourself up a schedule and forcing yourself to do it can be very, very challenging. Lars Best in Tesla, he does, his Best in Tesla show every Sunday. For me, having to do a news show every single Sunday and knock that out would again be challenging. Sometimes I just don't want to do something like that. And then the third thing that I found over time, because this is 4 years I've been doing this plus, is doing it all on your own can end up being a problem because it's just too much work to do on your own. So let's break these things down a little bit. The first thing I do is I do what I love. I talk about things I want to, including this video right here, right? Just like Rick said, he's like, I could get a video where I get 1 million views. I can't do that. I don't have that kind of clout, but I could do a video that would get a lot more views than this video, but I choose to do this one because this is what I want to talk about. And I actually have 3 or 4 other video ideas in my head right now that I was planning on doing, but I superseded them with this because I just wanted to talk about it. And that's cool. And that makes me happy. That's the kind of thing that brings me joy. So obviously I am going to do something that I want to, even if this video doesn't do as well as others. And recently you'll have seen other videos I've done that don't do particularly well for whatever reason. I talked about the Sphere in Las Vegas, which I thought was super cool. I actually thought that video was going to do well, but it hasn't. Who knows why? I talked about Boxable. Boxable is just an amazing technology to me. And if you haven't seen those videos, definitely be sure to check those out. And of course, I've talked about a bunch of CES stuff, and I've got a bunch more CES stuff coming up. So there are a whole bunch of things that I'm talking about. I talk about AI topics, all of that. It's just stuff that I like, which doesn't have to do with, I would say, like the core topic of this channel, which is Tesla. And I've told people, I think I said this last summer in a video, I was like, I'm going to do kind of an 80-20 split where I'll try to focus on Tesla for like 80% of the videos, and 20% of the videos I'm going to do other things that I enjoy. So currently with CES just coming up, you'll see it's going to be a little bit more heavily weighted toward other, because there's just a bunch of stuff to talk about. And I promise you I will get back to Tesla. I have, like I said, I have a bunch of topics that I want to talk about that are specifically Tesla related. But anyway, I'm trying to keep that sort of a balance, but you as my audience, should you choose to subscribe to this channel, you don't have to subscribe to it. You can go ahead and unsubscribe if you want to. But should you choose to do that, I hope that you will, at the very least, allow me to do these other videos. You don't have to watch them if you don't want, but I kind of recommend doing that. If you're a curious person and you want to find out more about the world, I highly recommend watching these other videos that are not on brand, because I think that you will find them interesting. Even if they're not right up your alley, you'll be like, okay, that's a cool thing to find out about. For example, I've got one on really interesting tube technology, like old school tubes, those kind of things. At CES, I talked to this person about it, so you'll see that video in the next couple of days as well. And so if you enjoy weird different things, and if you enjoy learning about all of these different topics like I do, like I said, I'm very ADD, then I think you will, then just give it a chance and see if you enjoy watching other videos like that. I've got a lot of them in my library. I can't link everything because that's just the way YouTube works. You can only put 5 referrals in the video itself, but feel free to search through my back catalog and just see what there is. There's almost 1,000 videos now. I'm getting really, really close to 1,000 videos. So that's pretty cool in its own right. And I feel very proud about that. That's a lot of videos that I've produced over time. And speaking of producing a lot of videos over time, that's where I want to talk about the doing it all on your own. There was a time when a small channel, B, that was just the kind of thing where I just had to do it myself for monetary reasons, and C, it was just I didn't know who to talk to about trying to fix these sort of things. But I have come across Farzad's incredible editor, and not just Farzad's, but many people. David Carbut, he is creating, I think, kind of a media back-end empire. He's like an incredible editor, but it's not just the editing and stuff that he does. That's very, very mechanical, and I appreciate it immensely. But there is also the aspect of doing thumbnails and titles, and even more importantly, talking about strategy with me. So if you watch the videos over the past week or so, and then going into the future, if you see some differences, and hopefully you will like them better, I hope you will understand that that's coming out of David and his team, that they're working to help me create a better channel and a more interesting channel for all of you. So stay tuned for things like that. But the upshot of all of that is that hopefully it will allow me to do what I'm more passionate about, which is creating the content, not editing the content, and coming up with thumbnails. I really hate thumbnails. If you haven't noticed yet, I really hate thumbnails. So I'm happy to give that job to somebody else. Anyway, so that kind of a thing, I hopefully will make me happier and more productive, and more productive means that you guys will get more videos, or at least more interesting videos out of me. And so all of that is to the good. So again, to combat the follow the algorithm thing, I'm just choosing to do what I want to. If you want to come on that ride with me, then that's awesome. If you don't want to come on that ride with me, absolutely unsubscribe. I don't, it's fine. I won't hold any ill will against you, but that is very important to me, that I can, follow what I want to do. Again, it's mostly going to be Tesla focused, but it's not going to be 100% Tesla focused. The next thing, and this is something I need to be good with myself about as well, because oftentimes if I go more than 24 hours without a video, I'm like, I got to do a video. But that is being more flexible with my schedule and allowing some of that to, if it needs to take 2 or 3 days for the next one to come out, and then there's 3 videos in a row in one day or something, whatever. That's just the way it goes. So I think being less rigid about a schedule is going to be a good thing, and should help me in the future. I guess I'm doing therapy with all of you guys, so thank you for being here. And then the last thing was, I was realizing that I was becoming overwhelmed with the amount of work that all of this entailed. And with having, teaching as a full-time job, and also my small company as a full-time job, I was just like, where the heck do I have the hours to do this? So getting a team to help me is super, super crucial. And I just happen to be lucky enough not just to get a team that will help with the mechanical aspects of it, but also help me understand the channel and to grow the channel and to strategize for things in the future. Interestingly, David was telling me today, he was like, you should probably just be on brand all the time, and you should maybe consider just trying to do like really, really banging videos every single time. So he may or may not enjoy this video, because he might be like, wait a second, you're doing the opposite of what I said. But we did talk it through. He was like, look, you got to do what you want to do. You have to remain passionate. So I think he understands. It was good advice. I mean, honestly, if you want to grow the channel as fast as possible, obviously you want to follow the algorithm, but I'm saying right now publicly that I would rather not burn out. And that gets to the really interesting thing that Rick said. He said, I am going to retire from YouTube. That's going to be my last job. And that's a really interesting thing. Like I said, I'm a couple of years younger than him, about 4 years younger than him, but it is something that I still have a lot of stuff that I want to do in terms of teaching, and a lot of stuff I want to do in terms of my company. But both of those things I could see being over by, 7 or 8 years from now. So my mid 60s or something. But this YouTube channel, if people are still willing to watch me when I'm a really, really old crotchety dude, I would love to be doing this when I'm 70. So I could easily see this being my last job as well. And that would be amazing. And therefore it's really, really important for me to find that passion and to be able to maintain that passion. One other thing I want to bring up that Rick also brought up is comments. Comments to me are like just killer. Rick has a great attitude. He's like, the positive and the negative comments are more about the commenter than about me. I think that's a really good attitude. As it turns out, I don't know why, but I have a relatively thin skin in terms of comments. I can get, and I believe me, most of you are incredibly positive and I really love the comments, but most of you will say, like 100 people can say like, you're the best, that was a great video, and etc. And one person can go like, really hated it, your eye color is stupid or something like that, right? Just a dumb comment like that. And I will take that with me for a week. And so for me, comments are a very, very complicated topic. I love that you all comment and I really encourage you to do that, but you will often notice that I don't respond as much as I should to comments. And a lot of that is that it's just very difficult for me. So I have often thought about like hiring my wife to be my social media person and to kind of go through and find stuff for me to look at. So to kind of put a layer between me and the comments, because I really do appreciate the comments and I love the comments and they're really helpful. Oftentimes they're like, oh yeah, I could do a video on that, or I should respond to that or something. But it's that 1 in 100 negative comments that just completely blows my mind. And it makes me have a really bad day. I have a bad day from one bad comment. So if you hate this video, obviously you can give me a negative comment. You can do that, whatever you want to do. But I just want to let you know that it has an effect, right? And I'm not the only one. I've talked to many, many people who are on YouTube and X and Instagram, etc. And everyone says that. They're like, comments are really, really tough. So it's something for you to consider as a viewer. And it's something I always consider as a viewer as well. Because remember, I'm not just creating this content. I consume a lot more media than I create. And so I will look at somebody else's channel and I'll want to leave a comment, and I will. But even if it's critical or something, I try to be very, very constructive. I'm never like, you're a terrible person and ad hominem attacks or something. I'm just like, I appreciate what you've done here. I have some feedback. These are my thoughts. So I try to be as constructive and positive as possible, even when giving criticism. And that's something I've kind of learned as a teacher as well. As a teacher, I have an inordinate amount of power. If I say a student is dumb, or if their project was stupid or something, I very rarely do that. But I'm just saying, if I make a mistake and say anything to that effect, that student is devastated. It will absolutely crush them. So criticism, I try to be as positive while giving criticism, because again, everything's not unicorns and rainbows. You can't just be like, oh, it's all great. That doesn't really help anybody. You have to, to bring people along. The whole point of teaching is to give them information, teach them skills and knowledge and stuff that they didn't know before, which means that there's going to be failure involved. So I talk about that in my classes from day one. I'm like, I expect failure. I think it's good. I encourage it. And if and when you feel badly about the failure, it's okay. And we'll talk through it and everything. So I try to set that up as kind of just a cultural thing in my classrooms. But also when I do give criticism, I try to, say some positive things and some critical things and stuff like that. I know it's never easy. Giving criticism is never easy, but I just sort of want to talk about that. Oftentimes commenters think there's this kind of anonymity and you're just like, I'm back there in the shadows and I'm going to bang out something like, I hate you or something like that. That has a devastating effect on people, and it's a real effect. So I just kind of want to express that to you as a viewer and to me as a viewer, right? Because remember, I also view videos and I also comment on videos and things like that as well. So it is important to keep that in mind as you comment. And of course, I also need to keep Rick's attitude in mind, which is the comments are more about the commenter than they are about me. That would probably be helpful as well. And then finally, Rick brought up a really interesting point at the end of his video, and it's something that I believe that if you're a 20-year-old watching this, you probably won't get this yet. Someday you will, but you won't get it yet. And that is that a lot of this stuff is about saying goodbye, and I think that's why he's so intrigued by YouTubers saying goodbye, but it has a lot to do with age. I'm 58. I'm very, very close to 59. My birthday is in just a week or so, and so I'm really, really closing in on 60. And Rick is over that 60 hump. And there is an awful lot of things that neither one of us is ever going to do again. We're not going to play professional football or basketball. Not that I ever was going to do that anyway. We're not going to have those kinds of activities in our lives anymore. Hopefully you will remain healthy and you keep doing what you can do. And intellectually too, there's a whittling down. I'm not nearly as, fast and smart as I used to be. Hopefully I'm a little bit wiser, but I certainly don't have the brain power that I did when I was a 20-year-old. And I don't have the eyesight that I had as a 20-year-old. I had perfect vision as a 20-year-old. So, these things go away and there's a whittling down and there's a saying goodbye and there's a saying goodbye. And there's always something else that you have to say goodbye to tomorrow that you didn't have to say goodbye to yesterday. And it actually brings out a lot of emotional stuff. My parents are in very, very poor health, and my father is probably going to pass away within the next month or two or something like that. That seems to be the odds on that's going to happen. So I will be traveling up to Washington, D.C. again. So anyway, they're in their 80s, and of course, most of their lives, most of everything that they could ever do, they have had to say goodbye to. I am heading that direction. I'm the next generation. I was just talking to the chair of my department yesterday, and she noted that fact. She's like, "Wait, we're next." It's like our parents are moving out and it's us next. And part of that process is that process of saying goodbye even to your children. They become adults and they move away and they're not home with you anymore. So all of that stuff is a process of saying goodbye, and YouTube can be like that too. It can be good friends of yours can stop producing videos on YouTube or Instagram or whatever the platform is, and you don't get to see them anymore. And that can be devastating for you. It's also devastating for the people who are not doing it anymore on the creative side as well. So this all might start to feel a little bit depressing and maudlin. So I'm going to end it on more of a high note. And again, that is the positive aspect of this. And that is that hopefully I can continue to make this something I am passionate about and I want to get up and do every day, not something that I dread doing. If it ever flips to the point where I dread getting up in the morning to go do this thing rather than really, really looking forward to it, then we're going to have a talk. But that I hope is years and years and years away. And I hope you all will come and join me for the ride. Let me know in the comments what you think about that. And please be nice when you do that, because remember, it will affect me. And also, David told me I'm not supposed to give a real outro anymore, so I'm just going to say goodbye. Cheers.